Hi, my name is Catherine Jones, and I am a senior agriculture communications major, and I looked at HighTechInk for my final case study. So I thought we would just get started by looking at the case as a whole. So we are looking at HighTechInk, which manufactures low rub ink for magazines and newspapers. But really digging into who this company really is employees who are ununionized blue collar workers, and then also the creative scientists and technicians who are there to be innovative and invent new inks that are pushing this company forward within the market. So why we are looking at them is they are very competitive in the market and have been a leading company in the past, but they experienced a slight drop in their market shares. And we really want to help them be able to meet their maximum payout for their employees in the future, but really dig deeper into figuring out how we can make those employees loyal and motivated within the company. So the overall goals of HighTechInk, like any company, they are aiming to gain a larger share of that market and bounce back from that decrease they experienced this past year because they want to be able to make that payout for their employees. However, I think the real goal here that isn't stated in papers, numbers, or Excel sheets is that goal of building a stronger community and loyalty within their employees and innovation scientists, so that way even if they can't make that payout, they are still willing to be dedicated to their employer and happy to go to work. So that kind of leads towards the organizational gap that's being experienced. They want to be able to pay their employees in the future fiscal years. Yes, that is absolutely necessary to be able to pay your employees what they deserve. However, in order to actually make that happen, rather than focusing on what can we do to make our market shares grow, they need to be looking at what can happen on a smaller step. If you can meet those small steps, then your larger goal is more accomplishable. So I suggest that they should be looking at developing areas of innovation within the ink business and building a more community-based workplace. So that way they're not necessarily just focusing on that market share, but by working on things that are more feasible within the workplace, that they will ultimately end up reaching their market share without even really necessarily noticing. So in order to make these goals happen and to close that organizational gap, I looked at the Herzberger's two-factor theory. I thought we could examine and evaluate what employers are being necessarily motivated for job satisfaction, and then what are those hygiene factors that are indicating their job dissatisfaction. If we can identify what is a job satisfaction for these employees, whether they are the executing blue collar workers or those innovative creative scientists, then we can determine how we can make sure that they love their job, even if there isn't a great payout that term, or what can we remove to make sure there's not a high amount of job dissatisfaction to where if there isn't a payout, that's the last straw and they decide to leave the company. So Herzberger's two-factor theory is a theory that looks at job satisfaction and job dissatisfaction and makes the point that these two are not opposite of each other, that they are two separate entities. And something that may cause job satisfaction does not necessarily mean that the opposite causes job dissatisfaction, which I think is an important thing for employers and whoever is looking to implement changes in this company keep in mind. So I believe reaching out to employers, whether they're the blue collar or those innovative scientists, and kind of doing maybe focus groups or a survey, or just having sit down one-on-one conversations with them and talk about what they find satisfying in their job, what kind of challenges motivate them, what kind of recognition do they like to receive, how much responsibility is enough to keep them going and not too much to shut them down, and how they might want to make meaningful decisions within the company. The company is, as I said, has a profit sharing plan, so that helps in the meaningful decision process. But what more can they do on a smaller basis within the company to make sure that they feel like they're part of the decisions that are leading to that ultimate growth and advancement? Also, in these interviews and research process, I think it's important to talk about those things that might be job dissatisfaction, and not just the general things like, oh, I don't like who I'm working with, or I'm not getting paid enough, but really truly dive deep into the work conditions and the company policies and how those are impacting the lives of their employees. So looking on how to move forward after this research has been conducted, we need to look at how to implement within each of the different categories of motivators, and also how to reduce the hygiene factors for these different employees. These are my thoughts on the case and the theories that could be used to help HighTechInk reach their goals. So let me know what you think. Thank you.